How would you solve the homeless crisis in America? I don't think there's just one solution. Some people need a job. Some people need treatment, alcohol and/or drug addiction. Some people are mentally ill. Some of these people would respond well to treatment or medication, and some should probably be institutionalized. Some are suffering from two or more of these problems. Probably try to solve the drug and mental health crisis first. You know that rule at family dinners that no one gets seconds until everyone else has had a plate? That but for houses. And investment properties, re-enable the maximum housing ownership, set max on how long banks can hold onto property, decriminalization of drugs with therapy, affordable mental services. The federal government stopped funding mental institutions in the 80s, thanks to Reagan. Then, the crisis happened. Reopen mental facilities and rehab centers and stack them high. It's the only solution. This is so tough. There isn't one major solution but probably like 100 great micro solutions. People are homeless for many different reasons. I think a great start is to look at countries that don't have nearly as much homelessness, and consider what they do differently. We don't have to copy them fully, but it doesn't hurt to look and wonder. I don't claim to have the answers, but I strongly believe quite a bit more could be done if folks agreed. There is lots of evidence that when you home the homeless it costs everyone less. Companies are forcing workers that could be remote into offices to justify paying leasing fees or what have you. The easy solution is to let every job that can be remote, and the useless office space can be converted into different tiers of living arrangements. This could be a boon to both the homeless and the working poor. No universal solution. Everyone isn't homeless for the same reason. Most will disagree, but we need to bring back institutions and some people will need to be placed there against their will. Monetary, mental health, and drug treatment are important, but we need to be honest and realize that there are some individuals that are simply not capable of living on their own. These facilities need to be monitored to protect residents from abuse, and all other assistance attempts should be exhausted first, but we need to stop pretending that there aren't many people who simply cannot function on their own and get them off the streets, so resources can be given to those who can benefit from them. We need a huge emphasis on mental health. Next, we need to work on the drug problem. Then healthcare and education. We could build free houses for everyone, and still have a homeless problem if we don't fix the root cause. This isn't a solution, but perhaps some additional details that people just don't understand because they've never spent a lot of time with the homeless. I have volunteered at a homeless shelter for over 15 years and the problem is very complex and everything sounds great on paper until it's met with the reality that is real people. Most are suffering severe mental health issues and addiction. Many would require permanent placement in mental institutions as these are not people you want around families or the public. They can and often do have violent episodes and refuse to take medication. Many would take some permanently free housing if there's no rules, but that would be an absolute nightmare for everything and everyone near them. Many absolutely refuse to clean, and so you'll have a pest invested, trash piled to the ceiling, dead animals somewhere but you can't find it in the trash piles, excrement filled, tubs, buckets, cups, corners of the rooms, all because a toilet clogged and they didn't care to report it. Needles everywhere, holes in walls, part of a room set on fire, etc. I've seen this all in one apartment or house more times than I can count. More than 100 but less than 200 times if I had to guess, and every time it's very expensive to remedy because there's hazardous waste everywhere. The state foots the bill and we put them back on the streets where they were staying half the time anyway. Many refuse to have a job and housing is simply not that big a deal. Vast majority would rather have drugs or alcohol, prostitutes, freedom, and the carefree lifestyle as opposed to normal society. Now about 80% say they want to rejoin society and just need some help, but I've learned over my time that it's closer to 5% to 10% that actually mean it, and those people are really where people love to invest time and energy. There already is a comprehensive solution. Utah implemented it in the 2010s. Turns out it saves the state money too. It costs less to put a roof over people's heads than to cover the emergency medical treatment etc. from leaving them unhoused. https://www.npr.org/2015/12/1075/126/459100751/075/1/7 Edit. Utah reduced its homeless population by more than 90%. That's a point where debate becomes a matter of letting the perfect become the enemy of the good. Put the homeless people in homes. Make it illegal for foreign investors to buy residential properties. Make it illegal for investment firms/bankers to buy residential properties as investments. Make it prohibitively expensive from a taxation standpoint for any individual to own more than a few homes. Pretty much do everything you can to get greed and profits out of a sector that should only exist to give people a home to live in. Make slumlords extinct and treat housing as a basic right. Also need help for those just coming out of incarceration. Many times they don't have stable home and social lives and can't afford first, last and deposit. Can't get bank accounts. Can't put down current address for job applications. Become homeless. Get arrested. Cycle starts again. House. Tax Joel Osteen. EMT here, I work in Seattle. My assessment? I take lots of homeless folks to the hospital. I haven't yet met one that wasn't severely mentally ill, addicted to hard drugs, or both. Decades ago, these unfortunate people would be in long-term psych care. Nowadays, we just kick them out into the streets. My solution? Bring back mental asylums. Everyone screeches, but those places were horrible. True. The facilities could use some improvement. But leaving them out on the streets is most emphatically not the solution. Mental health intervention. Including, but not limited to, institutionalizations. Treatment plans that work. Reinvest and heavily into mental health facilities, residential, inpatient, outpatient and transitional. It has to be accessible and affordable. Invest heavily into substance abuse treatment facilities, residential, inpatient, outpatient and transitional. Often closely related to mental health, this must be accessible and affordable. This would also begin to reduce the jail/prison populations, as many are directly related to substance abuse and undiagnosed and/or untreated mental health disorders. Invest in trades and jobs programs. Trade work/apprenticeships for housing and basic groceries and utilities, as they get back onto their feet and slowly transition from social services to independence. Invest in before-school/work, after-school/work daycare programs for working and recovering mothers and their children. Get the kids in a positive direction with strong supports early and often. Realize the system was annihilated by Reagan in the 80s, so positive change won't happen overnight. But if done well, investing into our people can be a direct investment into our communities, and can have a direct correlation to reduced homelessness, substance abuse, and crime rates related to homelessness and substance abuse related to unaddressed mental health needs.